What is the biggest problem affecting your PDR business? What is the one thing holding you back from taking the next step? What do you need to change to get the business growth you want? All these questions have the same answer. It's your mindset. My name is Corey Kleinfeld, and this is the PDR Coach Podcast, where I coach you on mindset around yourself and your PDR business. Now let's get started. Welcome back to the PDR Coach Podcast. Today, it's just me again, another solo episode. Last week, I got a lot of feedback on the state of the industry, the way I see it, podcast episode I did last week. I do solo episodes every once in a while because I get these ideas in my head and I can't shake them. And the way for me to, settle it and move past it in my head is to put it out there in the world, get some feedback from you guys, guys and gals, and have you reach out to me and start some discussion. So that's what I'm going to do today. And then I have a few more podcast interviews lined up, which are, in my opinion, are fantastic. Some stuff that can really change the way you see the industry. That's what I always try to do. So, today I want to talk about passion. I see this a lot. You guys all know I'm a coach, business coach, life coach, whatever you want to call me. Fine with it, but a lot of that stuff comes with passion. So I'm not a big meme poster, not a big quote poster on my social media or anything, but I see a lot of this stuff, and there is some truth to it. But some of the stuff I see, I don't understand, and I don't get it. That's why I don't post a lot of them. But because when I do, there's almost always an argument to it. So a lot of people will post something about passion, like find your passion, or follow your passion, or, love the passion of what you have, whatever. And I'm passionate. I'm like, man, are we supposed to be born with some sort of passion for something? Like, are we supposed to be born with a passion for pushing metal around? Right? I mean, that's the question that I ask myself sometimes, because as you all know, my passion seems to be less than other people's for pushing metal. And actually less and less nowadays. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So, for all the new listeners I have that haven't listened to me tell this story, my family started the business in the early 90s, and I was born into it. Essentially, I was 5. I'd go to work with my dad. I was around PDR all the time. I learned how to push dents over a matter of several years, summer breaks, winter breaks, going to work with my dad. I'd hack up one car while he fixed 20, and then he'd come behind me and fix my car that I hacked up, and we move on. So that's how I learned it. And so I guess my passion for it wasn't there because I didn't sacrifice something to get it. And that's the way I see it. So, I don't think passion for what you do, maybe for some people, I believe that it is, but I don't think passion for everybody is had before you do it. I don't think the passion for paintless dent repair or for pushing metal is there before you start pushing metal. So if you're listening to this and you haven't started a business or just started a business or whatever, the passion may have lied in being an entrepreneur, right? Or leaving the place you were at then, or creating a different life for yourself, or trying to create that financial freedom instead of working for a big company or a body shop or a painter or whatever. So that may have been where the passion lied. And the pushing metal is the means to do so, right? And so that's how I felt for a long time. But I think the passion actually comes from the struggle of doing the thing that you're doing. I think that's where the passion actually comes from. And that's why I don't think I had it for a long period of time, because I didn't struggle to get it. All the people that started their businesses as PDR techs, whether it was in the early 90s or whether it was last month, right? You may not have the passion for pushing the metal. It's a struggle. It's hard to have a passion for something that you're pretty terrible at, that you don't find a lot of success in, right? So I went and looked up. The word passion. And it comes from a Latin word, as most of the English language does. I'll probably say it wrong, but P-A-T-I, pati, not sure, which literally means to suffer. That's what pati means. That's where the word passion comes from, means to suffer. So something like the passion of the Christ, right? The suffering of what Christ did for us, right? That's what passion is. So passion quite literally means suffering. No one uses it that way nowadays, though. The word has been corrupted like many, many words have in our world. Words get corrupted to mean different things. And this one passion has become this thing that we're supposed to have inside of us, that we're supposed to be born with, that we're supposed to find before we go do something. And I think that's a big problem because if you live in the world of social media and you live in the world of quotes and memes and that type of language, you'll never do anything. A lot of people will never do anything because they don't have a passion for something, right? Because that doesn't come first. A lot of times that passion is created through the suffering. And I'm much more passionate about paintless dent repair now than I was a year ago, 5 years ago, for sure 10 years ago, because of the struggle I've gone through, because of trying to help grow the business, because of taking on repairs that I couldn't fix and overcoming them. That's now the passion is more there than it ever has been. And I think it's because it has been through that suffering. So I guess the point of that is for those that are listening that are deciding to do something else, or that are struggling with learning how to market or sell or grow their business or do whatever, and they feel like they're supposed to do that stuff, or they feel like that's the right thing to do, or they're just not passionate about growing their business. They're just not passionate about marketing. They're just not passionate about whatever it is, adding a service like we talked about last week. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. A lot of times in the world, we need to commit to doing something, and along that path, like I talked about last week, along that path, things will change. Things will happen that you never knew that they could happen. So I think one of the biggest problems we have in our world today, and in this industry, and in people as a general rule, and it's not obviously specific to everybody, is that there's a lack of commitment to learning and doing something, a process, right? Committing to learning PDR and going out and growing your business and doing all that will lead you to other paths that those doors were literally not there before you did that thing. Before you started your business, the doors were not there. Before you joined that group, the doors were literally not there. The connections were not made. The opportunities did not present themselves. So commit to doing something and understand you don't have to have passion before you do it, but passion can be created through the struggle of actually making that happen. That is where the passion comes from. And I think that our society has lost sight of that. And hopefully this will help you not do that, especially if you're in the beginning of doing this. You may not love dent repair, but you may love growing a business, or marketing your business, or selling to other customers, or helping other people feel better about their vehicle. Maybe that's what carries you through until you get passionate about fixing dents. So that's how I feel about it. Hopefully that puts something in perspective for you guys. If you guys want to talk about anything, you know where to find me. Thank you for listening to another episode of the PDR Coach Podcast. If you got any value from this podcast and want to do something for me, then the best way to do that is to subscribe to the podcast and give me a rating and review. If you want to know more about me, then you can find me on Instagram by searching for the PDR Coach, or find me on my website at coachcoryk.com, CORYK.com. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back next week.